Okay, so I decided to check out a new rom-com on Netflix. Right? It's called A Family Affair. Is directed by Richard LaGravenese, written by Carrie Solomon. It is produced by Joe Roth and Jeff Kirschenbaum. Executive produced by Alicia Altman, Michelle Morrissey, and Carrie Solomon. Line produced by Ellen H. Schwartz. Sidrath Kuzla handles the music. Don Burgess is on cinematography. Melissa Breventon edits the piece. Rich Delia was behind the casting. Production design is Desma Murphy. R.T. Contreras is art direction. Set decoration is Edward McLaughlin. And Luis Sequeira took care of costume design. Our cast. Well, we have got Zara Ford, who is played by Joey King. Her mother, Brooke Harwood, is played by Nicole Kidman. Her boss, Chris Cole, is played by Zac Efron. Her her grandma, right, is Leela Ford, played by Kathy Bates. Zara's best friend, Eugene, is played by Liza Kushi. Her boyfriend, Malcolm, is played by Ian Gregg. All right, we also have got Emmanuel, played by Wes Jetton. There is the French director, played by Sarah Baskin. Mila, played by Mila is Chris's housemaid. She's played by Zila Azadopoulos. There's Jesse, played by Vince Pisani. Stella, played by Sherry Cola. That is also a friend of Zara's. There's Ashley, played by Olivia Makelin. The maitre d', played by V. Batra. Dr. Randy, played by Brooks Ashmakas. I think that's probably our main group of people, really. Okay, so yeah, that's the main group of people. The gist of the story is this: 24-year-old Zara is tired of being underappreciated at her job as the personal assistant to self-absorbed Hollywood star Chris Cole. A short time after Zara quits, Chris arrives at her house to offer her an assistant producer position, but only finds Brooke as Zara is out running errands. As he decides to wait for her, he and Brooke hit it off. By the time Zara returns, she unknowingly walks in on them having sex. Zara is promised that it won't happen again, but Chris invites Brooke to dinner, and before they realize it, Zara's boss is having a secret romantic relationship with her widowed mother. So, yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on in this film. Right, a lot going on in this film. It's funny because when you look at what Richard LaGravenese has done, man, he's been involved in some big fucking films. Like he wrote the Fisher King, right? He wrote Bridges of Madison County. You know what I mean? He wrote The Horse Whisperer, Living Out Loud, which was his feature directorial debut, Paris Je t'aime, right? Freedom Writers, Water for Elephants, right? He's done some good stuff. He's also written some horrible stuff. And his directing efforts haven't been necessarily the best. I mean, P.S. I Love You, right? Oh boy, but this film, oh my days, it's odd. That's what I can say for me anyway, right? It was yeah, it was a strange one. Right? And this is the feature writing debut from Solomon. You know, it's the first thing that she's written. Um, you know, and I think that does show, right? I do believe that shows in this because we have this concept, right? That a girl. I mean, she's not even a girl; she's a woman. She's 24, right? She's living at home. Her dad died a while back, right? So it's just been her and her mum. She's been working for 2 years as a personal assistant, but she feels, right? She feels that she should be a producer at this point, right? Which just that notion is fucking crazy. And it kind of goes with the entitlement in this fucking film, right? You've been working there 2 years and you think that you should be not even an assistant producer, a straight producer. That's what she thinks she should be. And I don't like, what do we see in this film that tells us that she's a good producer? Right? They throw in stupid comments like at the end, it'd be like, oh, did she just produce us? And it's just like, ugh, stop it, you know? But it's funny, right? We're meant to feel sorry for Zara and her mum. They are obviously stinky rich. And you see the fucking house these motherfuckers live in, right? So it's weird because you do not have any connection with any of these characters, right? Just the fact that she wants to be this producer. She is a horrible friend, a horrible daughter, right? And then we've got a boss, Chris Cole, played by Zac Efron. Like we know Zac Efron can act. He was great in The Iron Claw. And then he does things like Ricky Snenicki at Amazon, and then this at Netflix, and you're just like, oh, these weren't good. These are like, we don't see your range at all in these roles. I mean, the roles are one-dimensional, right? That's what this is. It's one-dimensional roles. Now, these kind of movies are the equivalent of the books you find at airports, right? It's just they're one-time reads. They're there to fill a period of time and then you leave it or throw it, right? They're not books that you're gonna come back to time and time again, that you're gonna place in your top 10 books. They're not those. And that's what these films are, right? Because, you know, we have Chris, famous Hollywood actor, but it's like he doesn't understand how you're meant to treat people. That's supposedly the thing, right? He's so famous, he doesn't know how to treat people. But then there's a point where he's talking about, oh, yeah, oh, my mum died, and my brother died, and I just felt so much, and blah 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 blah. So you're going that he doesn't understand anything, but then you're trying to go, oh, but he's had such a hard life and he has all of these feelings and emotions. Right? So it's like, what is it? What is it? Choose a lane, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't necessarily be both, but if you're, you know what I mean, if you're faultless, I don't think you're acknowledging the first, right? I don't think you're acknowledging that you have all of these feelings, right? Because you've repressed those as a defense mechanism, and now you reverted to this other thing. So it just doesn't add up. It doesn't make any sort of sense, right? We have people doing things, and then all it takes is a "I'm sorry," "Oh, you're forgiven," and you're just like, the bullshit they pulled was so off. It would take more than a "I'm sorry" to get past that shit, right? Because these are grown motherfucking people. Grown people, right? Firstly, she walks in on her mum having sex with Chris. So you're telling me that you couldn't hear them, right? That you couldn't hear them? Do you just barge into your mum's room, right? Like, her mum hasn't been dating anyone since her dad died, you know, her husband died. And, you know, she lives in the house on her own, right? She doesn't have a boyfriend. So are you telling me that there's not been times when they've thrown some scented candles on, right? Put a little music and they're taking care of their their own needs, right? You're not gonna barge in. Have some respect, motherfuckers, right? But really, you're not hearing someone having sex, right? That's just the weird thing of it. But then it's just the fact that she's acting like a 5-year-old when she's 24. When she's 24, all of this bullshit, right? It's very bizarre. We have, you know, characters having epiphanies at the end of this film. That's always the wrap up, right? Be like, I've realized that, oh, you know, "Oh, you should be allowed to love. Oh, I've been an right," and then just like, yo, motherfuckers are too old to be, you know, supposedly having these kind of epiphanies, right? Now, you can act in a certain way, right? You can be a dick and then be like, you know what? This last week, I've just been off. But you figure it out pretty quick. You don't need, right, a whole heap of craziness, and then you'd be like, actually, I've I've been doing this, or my whole life I've been. Yeah, it's weird, right? We have Nicole Kidman supposedly, you know, thinking that she's unattractive. There was a bit where Eugene, Liza Koshy's character, is like, I'm built like a cereal box. And you're just like, what the fuck are we doing? Right? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Now, you like, if she had said something like, oh, I don't like my arms, right? So I like to wear a sleeved top, dress, whatever. Or it's just like, I don't think a halter top looks good on me. I prefer this type of that. You'd be like, all right, there's people have different tastes and blah blah blah. But to be like, I'm built like a cereal. Shut the fuck up. Come on now. Like, everyone's got eyes, right? And look, everyone's got different tastes, but even if you are a person that, for whatever reason, doesn't think Liza Koshy is attractive, right? Like, she's not the thing that makes your heart go boom, 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 you still aren't going, she's batters, right? You still acknowledge she's an attractive young lady, right? Nicole Kidman, not really, you know, not my thing, but she's clearly an attractive woman. So it is so disingenuous when we have a film like this. And you know what? It's not just saying this is the only one, because so many do it, but they try and act like, oh, these people aren't really attractive. These people are so normal, just like you are. You're just like, shut up. This is foolishness. So yeah, I don't know. I found it a weird film. I really did. But here's the thing, right? It's a very special rom-com that wins me over. You know what I mean? I have to be fair on that. So I will say, if you like stuff like Which Brings Me to You, right? If that film was like, oh, I love that film. If you enjoyed Upgraded, right? If you enjoy something from Tiffany's, right? Meet Cute, People We Hate at the Wedding, Shotgun Wedding, right? Upgraded. If those are your films, you really enjoy that kind of rom-com, well, people, A Family Affair, that is gonna be you're gonna be so happy. You're gonna be so happy watching this, right? It's just under 2 hours. So yeah, you are set for the evening. So yeah, it depends on your tastes. It depends what kind of thing, grips you. This doesn't grip me, but it could very well grip you. So, A Family Affair, it's available on Netflix.